Hello everyone and welcome back. Well, I figure that you're probably all depressed after seeing me lose a battle, so to cheer you up, here's one where I win. And I think it was a pretty good win because I didn't really have much of an advantage in this battle. My only advantage was really a cavalry advantage, and with the hill he puts himself on, I didn't really even have that very much, so I think this was a pretty good win on my part. And so let's take a look at the setups. Only 4 katana samurai, a lot of veterans, but after my defeat in the last battle I thought, well, maybe I should start bringing more cavalry. So they don't get all just obliterated so easily. So I brought 3 Yari cavalry this time. And then my ranged complement is a bow samurai and a bow ashigaru, who is a veteran. And now we look at the other side. Oh my goodness, that is a huge army. Look at that. This is a medium-sized battle. He has 19 units. Insane. He must have been using both of the cost-reducing retainers, because he has a lot. Let's take a look at the exact numbers. 5 bow ashigaru. Well, there goes any range advantage I might have had. 2 light cavalry, so that gives me a cavalry advantage, though he could still use his light cavalry to block my charges and use the Yari Ashigaru to pin me down. So even light cavalry can be useful in that respect. For his infantry, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Yari Ashigaru. One of them is a veteran and hurt, though. And then 4, or was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 5 katana samurai. Oh my goodness, I have my work cut out for me in this battle. No ranged advantage, definitely not. Can't skirmish. Infantry advantage? Well, not really. 4 katana samurai versus his 5, and then just 2 Yari samurai versus his 6 Yari Ashigaru. Not looking good for me. It's gonna have to be cavalry gonna win this battle. No way around it. So I had to think really long and hard about how to fight this guy. I figured he wasn't gonna attack me. It's generally a pretty good assumption. Didn't work so well in the last battle, but so he's kind of just gonna, he's not gonna camp, he's gonna move out of his deployment area and eventually take up residence here on this hill, which is gonna give me a bad angle of attack. Though I will get to illustrate a point I like to make about screening your infantry advance, and I do a pretty good job on that, which gets my infantry to hit their line without taking in many missile casualties. So here we go. My first instinct was to go around and advance from this tree line here and hit his army from this side. Because what I wanted to do is when you have the numbers disadvantage, you don't want him surrounding you. So if I hit him from this angle on the side here, hopefully he'll just collapse in like this and get all bunched up so he doesn't surround me and my katanas can cut him down easily. And then of course I'll have to neutralize his bows. Got a tough battle ahead of me. So my cavalry's going to be up here to threaten. I was thinking about trying to kill his ranged units first with my cavalry, at least do some good damage to them so I could advance more at my leisure. But I wasn't able to because he supported them well with his infantry moving up right behind the archers. Good job keeping support on him. So I decided that attacking through the forest would soon not be an option. I will triple speed it because it's just a lot of movement at this point. But he ends up just moving straight to that hill on this island. Now this is a good position for him. I mean, you're talking about a lot of tactics I talk about sometimes is how people put themselves in deceptively weak positions. And this one's actually pretty strong. Knowing my only advantage is cavalry, having a river on both sides and being on top of a hill is going to pretty much neutralize any cavalry charges. They'll be slow from the water, and then when they get to the land, if he doesn't take the beach and be right on the water, I still have to run uphill a little bit. And that's really going to hurt my charge bonus. So he does a good job of picking a good spot to be. And with the missile advantage, he can force me to attack him. He can just skirmish all day. I'm going to have to be the one to attack. So I didn't want him to sit too tightly and just skirmish with me. So I was deciding what I was going to do. I start moving toward the forest, but he takes that opportunity to start moving towards the hill. So I had to think of a new battle plan and fast. So what I was going to do is take all my infantry and put them in this stand of trees right here and advance this way up that hill. And hope that I can do good screening on my infantry so they don't take a lot of missile casualties, because they could get torn up by the bows and then I will be pretty much screwed. So luckily for me, he doesn't divine what I was doing and keeps his army in a straight line like he is now and facing this way instead of facing this way where I was coming from. Could have changed the battle. So, bad move on his part there. So here's what I'm doing, screening the infantry advance. Here come my bows. They're going to try to attract attention, take shots away from my infantry. And normally, cavalry kind of does this, but bows can do it too, because nobody likes to have bows shoot at their enemy. So he's going to have his bows respond to mine by shooting. And then right when his bows are going to get distracted, that's when I'm going to make my attack. And plus he's a little disorganized right now, he's not in a strong position, he's still moving his forces. So this is a good time for me to attack. So here I go. Notice where his archers are firing. Most people don't individually order ranged units. So you can use an infantry or a cavalry unit to take the shots for your main line, and your main line can get to the infantry almost unscathed. So that's what I'm going to do here. The archers are screening the infantry, and that's when he finally realizes that my infantry is coming for him on the attack. So he's going to wheel around and start shooting at my infantry, but we're already halfway across the field. So I'm not going to take very many casualties. This one unit is going to take about 20 casualties, and that's going to be it for his ranged units, because watch what he does with his line. Where does he put him on the hill? If you were going to defend a hill, you kind of want to put him not quite on top of the hill, just below the top, like right about here, where the camera's centered. So you can put your missile units up top, and they'll have a good angle to fire upon. But look where he's putting his missile units. Way back here. I'm going to fire from that angle into my melee units. Because look at this. Look at that angle. It's a really bad angle. He's not going to do much damage at all to my melee units. So here come my melee units to tie down his. Can have a nice little infantry battle. Won't get a good charge, but no big deal. Because I'm sending my cavalry around to hit his general. So trying to tie him up with as much micromanagement as possible so I can slip my cavalry behind him and hit the general. Now his spears are going to come try and block this charge, but Yari Ashigaru are not good at blocking charges. See, I can just run right through it. Unless the only way to do it is really to use that spear wall ability. So if you're trying to block a charge, make sure you're using that, otherwise it's not really going to work. So my 3 cavalry units are going to do a good job hurting his general. They're going to get him down to about 10 men before they all kind of rout. This Yari cavalry though is going to hit the missile units, get him to stop shooting. So the infantry doing a pretty good job in the melee battle. I'm bringing up my spears because his cavalry is pretty well tied down, so I'm going to have him join the infantry battle. My missile units are still shooting into the mass. And actually some of these Ashigaru, see, they're already wavering. The thing about Ashigaru is just having units behind them is enough to shake their morale. You don't really need to destroy them like you do Samurai. Just getting units behind them will cause them to waver. So that's what I'm going to do with my Yari Samurai. Since I don't really need to deal with cavalry threats, they're going to join the infantry battle by flanking around and just getting behind the Ashigaru. Now look at this. Like I said, I wanted to attack from the flank to kind of neutralize his numbers so he doesn't surround me. So these 2 Katana Samurai are tanking these 4 Katana Samurai. And one of my units has only lost about 20 men. The other has lost about 70. But they're doing a good job of just tanking. I just need to hold them down until hopefully I can kill his general. Or these Yari Samurai can come make a breakthrough. So here I go. This one gets a little tied down, but I free him up. And they're going to come around the back. I'll double speed it real quick. So here we go. My cavalry is almost gone. This one has about 30 men left in the unit. So they're still in okay shape. His general is down to 10 men. So my cavalry actually did a pretty good job. Didn't kill the general, as usual. But the general's actually going to shatter. He won't die, so that turned out to be good. Because you can make the general shatter if you hurt him enough. So his light cavalry is coming around. I guess he's trying to flank. Okay idea to flank on the side that doesn't have spears, but again, he's going to come through the water, which is going to delay their movement quite a bit. See, now look at all this wavering we have. And that's just because they can sense this Yari Samurai behind him. And I'm going to get a good opening here and hit his general with my Yari Samurai. And I'm going to try and just cut him down. I don't know why nobody took a shot at him. There he is right there. Just come on, somebody stab him, please. No. Okay. Yep, but now they're down to 6 men. So I'm doing a good job hitting his general. And I want to talk about that for a second in terms of hitting the general, because a lot of people complain about the morale system in this game. And I understand that it's a legitimate complaint, and it's really, really frustrating when you're on the wrong side of it and your general dies and you lose a battle that you were going to win because they all rout en masse after the general dies. But when you think about it, it's a really good way to balance the game, because if you can go into a battle like this where you have a disadvantage, there's always the hope that you can kill their general and still win the battle, even if your army is not very well set up. Like in this battle, I think the unit-wise I had a disadvantage, but I was still able to win because I shattered his general. So I think it provides a really good way to balance. You can disagree with that. I understand the complaints. It's really, really frustrating to have your army rout en masse, especially if you had a very winnable battle. But I think it's a good thing overall. You just have to learn to adjust. So So we're going to have mass routing now because his general is shattered. And they're all going to start breaking across the river. He's going to reform and put up a last stand across the river. But he's going to send the light cavalry in to buy some time. But they're going to come across the river and be slow. And he's also going to run into a Yari samurai unit. Or no, wait, that was a little later. This one's just going to hit the katanas. But he'll get cut down anyway. I mean, light cavalry's just not that good in melee. Still got off a pretty decent charge coming uphill. Not a whole lot of casualties, but, you know, not bad. Good for you, little light cavalry. Okay, so he's going to set up over here, and his bows are going to start shooting into me. That's when I decided I need to move up my bows. They'll be coming up shortly. But I wasn't thinking about the bows at this point. I was getting my infantry to move now while they're all wavering and finish this guy off. So here we go. The cavalry is wavering. They're down to 32 men. They're just going to get swarmed here and just get cut down. No problem. The Yari samurai is going to come around the back too, and there they go. They are broken. Yari samurai is going to be fighting 2 Yari Ashigaru. And I say that spear units aren't good in melee against other infantry, but when it's Yari samurai against Yari Ashigaru, you have the advantage there. Samurai will beat Ashigaru, all things being equal. And they're going to be wavering too from the general. So here we go, across the river to finish off this battle. Missile units are moving up to deal with the missile units that are firing into my men right now. And he's going to have a last-ditch charge here with his light cavalry, but they're going to run it right into my spears, and so not much chance there. Look at that, they lost about 16 men in that charge, and they're dying fast, right into the spears. And they're going to rout real quick, and everybody else routs too. And they are broken, and that's the end of the battle. So, had a lot of disadvantages. Didn't really have an infantry advantage, definitely didn't have a ranged advantage. And my cavalry advantage was lessened by the fact that he still had a couple units that he could use to block my charges, and with the water and the hill, they would be of pretty limited use, so I figured that sacrificing him to kill the general was a pretty good option. And it ended up working out for me. Like I said, missile advantage generally decides who's going to be the attacker, so I really had to take it to him in this one. So by attacking from the flank, I was able to neutralize his numbers and get him into a small area where hopefully my katanas could win the day. And once the Yari got around behind him, it really affected their morale, and the general shattering put the final nail in the coffin. So, well, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope we all learned something.